Welcome to Fresno City Vision. I'm Randy Reed. Since taking office, Mayor Ashley Swearingen has put tremendous energy into helping the homeless in Fresno move from the streets to housing and towards a more self-sufficient lifestyle. Using a variety of tools, Mayor Swearingen has worked to implement Fresno's 10-year plan to end chronic homelessness, and the effort has brought success. Since 2009, more than 700 formerly homeless men and women have been placed into housing and provided other support services to free themselves from addictions, obtain needed health care, and learn job skills. In her State of the City address this year, Mayor Swearingen launched a new initiative to build on that success, and she has called on the public to help in the effort.
As a city, we should expect to make reductions in the number of people living on our streets because we can change this situation. Doing nothing is not an option. Doing nothing is costing the public an estimated $80 million a year in unpaid medical bills, emergency room visits, public safety calls, and other public services. But we can do something about it, and Fresno First Steps Home gives everyone a chance to be a part of ending and preventing homelessness in Fresno.
Mayor Swearingen's point person on homelessness issues and Fresno First Steps Home is Greg Barfield. He is the City of Fresno's Homeless Prevention and Policy Manager. Greg, welcome to Fresno City Vision.
Well, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Tell us more about Fresno First Steps Home.
Well, Fresno First Steps Home is a nonprofit initiative that's been launched by the City of Fresno in order for us to assist in addressing homelessness. It's a way for us to gather funds and then re-grant those to agencies that are in our community who are working to address and implement our 10-year plan.
Okay. Homelessness is a serious issue in our community, as it is in others. I want to take a look at some footage from about a year ago, a homeless camp in downtown Fresno. Talk about what we're seeing here and what's there now.
This was the oldest encampment that the city had at this particular time. The 8th Street or Tent City encampment had over 150 individuals that lived on that particular plot of land. Through our efforts last summer, we were successful in housing 103 of them directly and providing them supportive services, and then another 33 of them we were able to link into existing services.
And
today,
that's what that lot looks like now?
Right.
And not only are all the homeless tents and shanties gone, but as you said, the folks who were living there, by and large, have been housed.
Right. Over 80% of them were still housed as of the beginning of this particular summer. So we are very excited about the efforts and work that we did leading up to this point in time that we're at now.
Okay. Now, we mentioned at the outset that over 700 homeless men and women have been housed since 2009. How significant is the problem today, despite those successes?
The problem is still very prevalent. Here in the city of Fresno, there are over 3,700 individuals who are unsheltered. We rank in one of the top 50 in the country in having a large unsheltered population. Now, we probably have another 10,500 or so individuals who are also doubled up or living in places not meant for human habitation, maybe sleeping in their cars. And so we have a very significant problem here in our community. We do think we're doing a better way of identifying where they are and who they are, and so that's why our numbers are probably kind of staying more balanced now versus originally when we drafted the 10-year plan, we actually only estimated that there were 1,000 individuals on the streets.
Okay, all right, and so you've discovered that the problem is more significant than that. So the city has put some money towards addressing homelessness. The state government, federal government, other entities have contributed. So talk a little bit about what has happened already, and then let's talk about how Fresno First Steps Home will partner with those existing efforts.
So in 2009, the city had general fund revenue, which allowed us to actually clear the 8th Street encampment. That money doesn't exist anymore. We were successful, though, in gaining federal stimulus dollars. So for 3 years, back to late September of 2009, we were granted $3 million for 3 years of federal stimulus funds. Those monies will soon run out because we've been addressing the problem very aggressively in helping to either prevent folks from falling into homelessness or to rehouse individuals who may not have been properly housed or physically on the streets.
Okay, so those dollars are about to run out. So now we launch Fresno First Steps Home. It's a nonprofit organization.
Yes.
How is it going to help?
So that the goal of Fresno First Steps Home is to raise $1 million a year, and then to quickly regrant that to agencies that have a proven and successful track record in providing services and helping us bring down the number of folks who are physically on the streets or who may be in quasi good living conditions. We want to continue that effort at this point with that $1 million, because basically the community's million would be able to fill the gap that we'll lose with the loss of our federal stimulus funds.
Okay, so where does that $1 million come from?
Well, the mayor in the State of the City address actually asked every Fresnan to take what she calls her buck a month pledge. So for for those who can do more, but if every citizen at least pledged $1 a month or $12 a year, we would have well over $1 million in our coffers in order to regrant that money to the agencies out there to do the work.
Okay, and I know there are some private donors that are stepping up as well and helping to encourage and promote Fresno First Steps Home?
Absolutely. Our corporate family here in the city of Fresno has really stepped up. So St. Agnes Medical Center, Kaiser Permanente, the community medical centers, and then a few private citizens, including the Penstar Group, have all stepped up with this great effort to help assist in providing us toward a means to our goal.
Okay, great news. Now, the video that we saw was of the homeless encampment downtown Fresno, a very visible sign of homelessness in our community. That has now been dismantled and folks housed that had formerly been living there. But there are still homeless folks on the street, and we see people on street corners holding signs. And so the problem still exists. A lot of folks will hand $1 out their car window to someone holding a sign on a street corner. Is that the best way to help folks who are homeless?
No, that's not the best way to help. And so one of the initiatives of Fresno First Steps Home is to do a public education campaign. So through Fresno First Steps Home, we've created these 211 cards. It's really a way for an individual, instead of giving a person a buck, what you do is you give them the card, and that connects them to other resources that are available in our community through the United Way call center.
Okay, so you give that card instead of $1, and folks who truly want to help themselves get off the street will have access to resources to help them do that.
Absolutely,
okay.
Absolutely.
And where can folks pick up those cards?
So you can pick up these cards at FresnoCityHall, right on the second floor in the executive offices where the mayor and the city manager and the council are, or you can call us at 621-7788, that's my direct number, or by going on to the website at FresnoFirstStepsHome.com.
Let's take a look at that website for a moment at www.FresnoFirstStepsHome.com. There are some stories of success there of formerly homeless folks who are now housed and on their way to self-sufficiency. What else can folks see on this site?
So on the site you will be able to see individuals that used to live at the 8th Street encampment and their success stories to date. And we will continue to update individuals on how they're doing from this point. But it also lays out clearly our steps to independence. There are 5 steps. One is starting with outreach, and then assessment, and then housing, and then monitoring, and then evaluation, and then you repeat the process all over again. Those 5 steps clearly show that we have a systematic plan in order to address an individual. Our goal is really to be able to have outreach teams that are doing this on a regular basis, reaching out to those individuals that are on the streets and providing assessments to them. And today it may not be, I'm ready to come into housing, but it may be a linkage into health care, or it may be a linkage into some support services that they may truly need. And then when you build a little trust with the individuals on the street, then they say, well, I want something more. And now maybe I'm ready to be housed. Our goal is, through a Housing First plan, is to do this where you don't have to get rid of all your addictions and all your demons. You need to be housed. That's a proper way to deal with a person's issues. Okay. And then you wrap services around that person and that household.
And the goal is to make them become self-sufficient
absolutely.
without the need for those services in the
Absolutely.
future. All right, Greg, terrific program. Thanks for coming on
thank
and
you.
sharing information about Fresno First Steps Home.
Thank you.
All right. My guest has been Greg Barfield. He is the Homeless Prevention and Policy Manager for the City of Fresno, and he coordinates Fresno First Steps Home. For more information on local efforts to end homelessness or to take the $1 pledge, please visit the website at www.FresnoFirstStepsHome.com. Thanks for joining us on this edition of Fresno City Vision. Hope you'll join us again in the future. I'm Randy Reed for the City of Fresno.